remind me what the first signs were that you noticed that something wasn't quite right?
Yes, well, actually, it was. I got a thorn in my eye, and for a long time, it was quite a bad one, and they did lots of things that they were very good. And then after a while, I kept sort of thinking there was something wrong with that particular eye, and I kept going back to the optician. They kept saying, no, you're all right, don't worry, it's nothing, you know. And in fact, it was the beginning of what we've got, I think, and people seem to think that. And the sort of symptoms were very similar to PCA, and in the end, I thought that I'd got something wrong in my head. I just felt there was something not right in my head, and that it was connected to my eyes. So I got a scan at Hursford Park, and the lady there at the end of the day, she said, well, can't see much really wrong with you. I think you might have had a stroke. So I thought, oh, okay, I've had a stroke. Oh, I'm all right. Okay, well, that's fine. And I thought no more about it, and I thought, right, okay, I'm better now. And then about 3 or 4 weeks later, I had a phone call from one of the doctors at Hursford Park, Dr. Reiter, I think it was, and he said, can you come to Hursford Park today with your wife? And I thought, oh my lord, what's happened? And we went, and he said, I think that we've just been looking through your notes, and we think you've probably got something called PCA, and I would like to test it. And he did the little finger things that you guys keep doing, and he said, yeah, I think you have. And I ended up here.
Right.
But it was really 3 years of that I actually had the disease, I think, which I thought was this thorn, but actually wasn't, or the remnants of this thorn. I think it started 3 years previous to what I knew.
And in terms of your everyday life, what were the sorts of things you were finding difficult, or the things that made you think?
I began to not really be able to do everything that I used to do, particularly small things. On the farm, you know, we were doing little bits of machinery and all that sort of thing, and I kept messing it up, and things just didn't go right, and that's why I thought there was something in my head that was going wrong.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until somebody explained to me that I realised, well, I knew what I'd got.
And these days, now a couple of years on now, what are the sorts of things that you find particularly tricky in everyday life?
Okay, I can't read the newspaper. I find that very, very hard. I can go down a couple of pages, but then it goes all fizzy, and I do have to stop there. I just can't do that. I can't write either, not particularly well. I can't write enough for people to be able to understand what I'm doing. So reading and writing are really both out of the question at the moment, which is probably one of the worst bits of the whole thing, I think. There aren't many other things which I can't do. One of the big problems is that I do sometimes act a bit funny, and people who don't know me wonder, what else, you know, what's he doing, what's happening? And the other people who know that I've got some sort of illness can't believe that I have, because it doesn't show at all. And that's one of the difficult things, is explaining to people something which they cannot see. Oh, I can't see either, but it's quite difficult to get it into their minds that, no, I can't actually do that for you because blah blah blah. Yeah. And there are problems, like for instance, if we sit down to dinner, I tend to take the cup or the plate from the person on my left-hand side rather than my own, because I'm left-handed, and automatically, I don't know why it does it, but my hand just goes out there, grabs the glass, and I've drunk it. Yeah. That's caused one or two, well, actually, people laugh about it. But that's the sort of thing that's happening. I can't drive a car, which is quite hard. That came hard. but I did realise, and I do realise, that there is no way I should. I do ride a bike, and in fact I've just bought a bike which it's an electric bike, which apparently I'll be very safe on, but we'll see about that. I think it's important. I think I've done. I don't know. It's probably totally wrong, but I think I've done the right things. I've carried on working as much as I can. I've tried to keep fit. I've tried to keep up with. One of the things that is quite difficult is keeping up with colleagues when you know you're not actually answering them properly. It's fine with friends, but I think one's sort of connection with work does go down quite a lot. I mean, I'm lucky because I'm self-employed. I think if I was employed, by now I'd have a sack, which is a shame because really I'm still perfectly all right. I don't know. There are lots of little things in my life, and I do get cross and angry, probably more than I should do, and I think that's just frustration. And if things go wrong, I sort of make more of it than I possibly need. Otherwise, life is fine.